Prehistory of Colorado provides an overview of the activities that occurred prior to Colorado's recorded history. Colorado experienced cataclysmic geological events over billions of years, which shaped the land and resulted in diverse ecosystems. The ecosystems included several ice ages, tropical oceans, and a massive volcanic eruption. Then, ancient layers of earth rose to become the Rocky Mountains. Before man, the dinosaur, mammoth, mastodon, camelops and giant bison foraged for food in a verdant land. During the Ice Age summer, humans walked into the present Colorado area as they followed and hunted large animals. The ancient hunters, the Paleo-Indians, evolved into modern Native American nations. The first people in Colorado were nomadic, following and hunting large mammals using the Clovis point. As megafauna became extinct, people adapted by hunting smaller animals, gathering wild plants, and cultivating food, such as maize. As the natives became more sedentary, there were significant technological and social advances, including basket, pottery, and tool-making and creation of permanent structures and communities. Trading with other indigenous people expanded the number and type of material items used for material goods, such as seashells, stones for jewelry and tools, pottery and food. Origins. Geological formations. The following is a summary of geological formations in Colorado. Precambrian igneous and metamorphic rocks. Precambrian metamorphic rock that forms the core of the North American continent during the Precambrian eon 4.5–1 billion year ago. There is also Precambrian sedimentary argillite, dating back to 1.7 billion years ago. During the Paleozoic, western North America lay underneath a shallow sea, which deposited many kilometers of limestone and dolomite. Pikes Peak granite. The Paleozoic era and during the Precambrian eon, about 300 million–1 billion year ago. Pikes Peak granite was formed from mass amounts of molten rock that would amalgamate, flow and combine, to form the continents. In Colorado it is known as the Precambrian Pikes Peak granite. Over the next 500 million years, sedimentation occurred after the granite was produced. At about 500–300 million years ago, the region began to sink and lime and mud sediments deposited in the newly formed space. Eroded granite produced sand particles that formed strata, layers of sediment, in the sinking basin. At about 300,000 million years ago, the land lifted, creating the ancestral Rocky Mountains. Fountain formation. Fountain formation was formed during the Pennsylvanian period of the Paleozoic era, 290–296 million years ago. Over the next 150 million years, during uplift, the mountains would continue to erode and cover themselves in their own sediment. Wind, gravity, rainwater, snow, and ice melt supplied rivers that ultimately carved through the granite mountains and eventually led to their end. Fountain formation is Pennsylvanian bedrock unit consisting primarily of conglomerate, sandstone, or arkose, in Colorado and Wyoming, along the east side of the Front Range of the Rocky Mountains, and along the west edge of the Denver Basin. The characteristic predominant red color and the composition of the fountain reflect that of the granites and gneisses from which it was eroded. Related sites are Flatirons, Garden of the Gods, Red Rocks Park, Roxborough State Park. Lion sandstone. Lion sandstone was formed during the Permian period of the Paleozoic era, 250–280 million years ago. At the beginning of the period, sea levels were low and present-day Colorado was part of the supercontinent Pangaea. Pangaea. Sand deserts covered most of the area, spreading as dunes seen in the rock record, known today as the Lion Sandstone. These dunes appear to be cross-bedded and show various fossil footprints and leaf imprints in many of the strata making up the section. Related sites include Garden of the Gods, Roxborough State Park, and the Lions and neighboring Hall Ranch open space areas. Lichens Formation. Lichens Formation was formed during the Jurassic and Triassic periods 150–250 million years ago. The sediment deposition of wavy layers of muddy limestone and signs of stromatolites that thrived in a smelly tidal flat at present-day Colorado. The ancestral Rockies were burying themselves while the shoreline was present during the breakup of Pangaea. This formation began right after Earth's largest extinction 251 million years ago at the Permian-Triassic boundary. 90% of the planet's marine life was destroyed and a great deal on land as well. Related sites: Garden of the Gods, Red Rocks Park, Roxborough State Park. Morrison Formation. The Morrison Formation was formed during the Cretaceous and Jurassic period 100 to 150 million years ago. The Morrison Formation contains some of the best fossils of the late Jurassic. It is especially known for its sauropod tracks and sauropod bones among other dinosaur fossils. As identified by the fossil record, the environment was filled with various types of vegetation such as ferns and zamites. Related site: Dinosaur Ridge, the road cut at the Interstate 70. Morrison exit. Dakota Sandstone. Dakota Sandstone, formed during the Cretaceous period 70–100 million years ago, was deposited 100 million years ago towards Colorado's eastern coast. It shows evidence of ferns and dinosaur tracks. Sheets of ripple marks can be seen on some of the strata, confirming the shallow sea environment. Related sites are Dinosaur Ridge, Garden of the Gods, Roxborough State Park, Deer Creek Canyon Park, the road cut at the Interstate 70. Morrison exit. Pierre Shale. Pierre Shale was formed during the Paleogene and Cretaceous periods about 70 million years ago. The region was taken over by a deep sea, the Cretaceous Western Interior Seaway, and deposited mass amounts of shale over the area known as the Pierre Shale. Both the thick section of shale and the marine life fossils found. Colorado eventually drained from being at the bottom of an ocean to land again, giving yield to another fossiliferous rock layer, the Denver Formation. At about 68 million years ago, the Front Range began to rise again due to the Laramide orogeny in the west. Related sites are Garden of the Gods, Fountain Creek Nature Center, Rooney Road near Dinosaur Ridge, Valmont Dike. Fox Hills Formation. Fox Hills Formation was formed during the Paleogene, Cretaceous periods. It is a marginal marine yellow sandstone with shale interbeds created with the receding Western Interior Seaway in late Cretaceous time. Laramie Formation. Laramie Formation, formed during the Cretaceous periods, is a geologic formation of the Denver Basin that ranges from 400 to 500 feet on the western side of the basin and 200 to 300 feet thick on the eastern side. The formation can be divided into a lower unnamed member containing bedded sandstone, clay, and coal, and an upper unnamed member composed predominantly of 90 to 190 meters of drab-colored mudstone, some sandstone, and thin coal beds. Denver Formation. Denver Formation, formed during the Paleogene, Cretaceous periods 55 million years, contains fossils and bones from dinosaurs like Tyrannosaurus rex and Triceratops. While the forests of vegetation, dinosaurs, and other organisms thrived, the rain would come to an end at the Cretaceous-Paleogene boundary. In an instant, millions of species are obliterated from a meteor impact in Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. While this extinction led to the dinosaurs and other organisms' demise, some life did prevail to repopulate the Earth as it recovered from this tremendous disaster. The uplifted Front Range continued to constantly erode, and by 40 million years ago, the range was once again buried in its own rubble. Related sites are Austin Bluffs Park, Green Mountain, Palmer Park, Pulpit Rock Park, South Table Mountain, Paleosol, Dawson Arcos, formed during the Paleogene period 37–55 million years ago, is up to 20-foot thick, multicolored layers of clay form in this prehistoric tropical forest. This layer, Paleosol, is a soil of fossils such as petrified wood. An uplift occurred on the Front Range that caused the Pikes Peak granite to become exposed and then erode on the surface, resulting in a white sandstone called Dawson Arcos. Related sites are Castlewood Canyon State Park, Daniels Park, Paint Mines Interpretive Park, Rock Park, Castle Rock Rhyolite. Castle Rock Rhyolite was formed during the Paleogene period 34–37 million years ago. 37 million years ago, a great volcanic eruption took place in the Collegiate Range and covered the landscape in molten hot ash that instantly torched and consumed everything across the landscape. An entire lush environment was capped in a matter of minutes with 20 feet of extremely resistant rock rhyolite. Related sites are Castlewood Canyon State Park, Molly Brown House Museum, Rocks Park and Mesa Tops between Castle Rock and Monument Hill. Castle Rock Conglomerate. Castell Rock Conglomerate was formed 16,034 million years ago. However, as seen before, life rebounds, and after a few million years mass floods cut through the rhyolite and eroded much of it as plants and animals began to recolonize the landscape. The mass flooding and erosion of the volcanic rock gave way to the Castle Rock conglomerate that can be found in the Front Range. About 10 million years ago, the Front Range began to rise up again, and the resistant granite in the heart of the mountains thrust upwards and stood tall, while the weaker sediments deposited above it eroded away. Related sites: Castlewood Canyon State Park, Rocks Park. Quaternary sediments. Quaternary sediments were formed during the Pleistocene period, or Ice Age summer, 11,000–16,000 years ago. As the Front Range rose, streams and recent glaciations during the Quaternary Age literally unburied the range by cutting through the weaker sediment, creating mesa tops and alluvial plains, and giving rise to the present Rocky Mountains. The receding glaciers and warming into an Ice Age summer created a climate suitable to camelops, mastodon, mammoth, bison, antiquus, and other megafauna. Related sites: Carson Nature Center, Highlands Ranch Open Space, Sand Creek Drainage, South Platte Park. Paleoclimatology. Paleoclimatology is the study of prehistoric weather. The Eemian interglacial period spanned 130,000–114,000 BP. The Laurentide ice sheet covered much of Canada and the northern United States from California, 95,000, and California, 20,000 years before present. Ecosystems. Colorado has one of the most diverse plant and animal environments of the United States, partially born from the dramatic temperature changes due to elevation changes and topography. The difference in elevation from the lowest ecosystems to the peaks of the Rocky Mountains is 12,000 feet. In dry climates, the average temperature drops 5.4 degrees Fahrenheit with every 1,000-foot increase in elevation. The mountains receive the most precipitation, which the lower altitude zones on the eastern and westernmost side of the state are semi-arid, receiving comparatively little precipitation. The Denver Museum of Nature and Science developed an 8-zone classification of ecosystems, defined primarily by the most present dominant plant life: grasslands, semi-desert shrubland, pinyon-juniper woodland, riparian, montane shrubland, montane forest, subalpine forest, treeline, alpine tundra. Since the Precambrian eon, the landforms have lifted, receded and have been eroded. Global temperature has vacillated from tropical to ice age, which significantly affected the number and type of ecosystems and what animal and plant life flourished during each geological period.